Hey guys, and welcome back to Unified Gaming. Now if this is your first time here, and you enjoy watching ESO gameplay, seeing new builds, or just want to get better at ESO itself, then start by subscribing now and clicking the bell so you don't miss anything. Welcome to the Zerg Buster. This is a Magicka bomb blade build that was designed by one of our community, DaddyDelve, and have since sent it in. This has been used over the past couple of months now, and we've been in discussion and min-maxed this for the Dragonhold patch together. What makes this really special is not so much the gear that's used to bomb, because it is somewhat generic, but it's actually the secondary gear setup that comes with this. The secondary setup allows us to reset our bomb insanely fast, which means you can bomb more frequently and with more ferocity. This is a great build to run if you want that high risk, high reward playstyle. Now I would recommend watching all of the video as it's only short and we're going to go through everything you need in order to make this work. I'd also suggest checking out his channel, it's DaddyDelve, there's a link in the description as he has a lot more footage showcasing this build in action. And if you would like to have a build featured or just some gameplay shown, then comment below and I'll be in touch. Now for the race, you want to be a high elf for this will give you the most amount of damage possible. If you are not a high elf, a dark elf will also work. There is very little damage difference between the two of those. You could then use a Breton below that, again that's not as good. In all honesty, high elf is the best as it maximises our damage overall. As for the skills, we have Sap Essence. This is an AoE ability, it does damage and it heals us really good. This is your spammable on this spec. We have Concealed Weapon, which is a single target ability. We do not actually use it but have it for the extra movement speed it gives us when we're in stealth or in sneak. We then have Inner Light giving us Major Prophecy, increasing our crit chance, as well as Max Magicka, increasing our damage overall. We then have Camouflage Hunter. This gives us Minor Berserk when we attack from the enemy's flank. As we're a nightblade and we're doing a bomb hitting multiple people, we always proc this, and the Minor Berserk will apply its damage to the bomb itself, so definitely worth having this slotted. We then use Shadowy Disguise. This turns us invisible and gives us a guaranteed crit from stealth. If we time it correctly, we can get the crit on Proxy Debt and Soul Tether, or on one of those abilities. All in all, it means we hit really hard if you use Cloak just before the bomb goes off. As for the ultimate, we have Soul Tether. This is a great ultimate. It does great damage, it heals you and it stuns the enemies, allowing you to spam Sap Essence if they are still alive. If they are not alive, then you can use Cloak and Escape. As for the back bar skills, we use Channel Deceleration. This could be a race against time. Either are great, we mainly want the Minor Force. Minor Force increases our crit damage by 10%, meaning we do more damage on the bomb. We then have Rapid Regen. This is a good sort of burst heal, especially when you pair it with Cloak. We then use Phantasmal Escape. This gives us Snare Immunity, which is why we can use Channel Deceleration, but if you drop that for race against time you could switch it and get Minor Resolve if you chose. This is a good skill as it also gives us movement speed, Major Expedition, meaning we can gap close and get into the bomb quickly. We then have Cloak on this bar once more. I find Cloak on both bars is more effective, and as you can see in the footage it works so much better. And then we have Proximity Debt, which is the bomb itself. This hits really hard and its damage amplifies the more enemies are there. The build itself has enough damage to solo bomb until kill one person by itself when you're fully buffed. So if you take this into a group when there's more people, you could end up killing groups really fast, as you'll see in the footage again and again. As for the ultimate, we use Temporal Guard, giving us minor protection, just making us a little bit more tanky if things don't go right. It also gives us an all-no button should we need it. As for the gear guys, there is two setups today. One is an ultimate generation, allowing us to recharge our bomb even faster. The other is the bomb itself. For the bomb itself, we use Balorg. We have a heavy piece and a medium piece for our monster set. They are both divines and Magicka glyphs. We then run 5 spinners and 5 Vicious Death for the bomb. We have divines on all of the body and Magicka on all of the body. As for the jewellery, we run 3 infused and all spell damage, and you want them to be gold. If you don't have gold jewellery or you don't have them infused, arcane is absolutely fine. You will lose a little bit of damage, around 3% on average. As for the weapons on the front bar, we run Dual Wield because this gives us the most damage overall. We have Nirnhund on the main, and we have Sharpened on the off. They are both swords in order to capitalise on that. If you don't have swords, then you do need to get them because they are a big damage difference, about 6%. Failing that, you could go with a 2H and that will be viable. You just will lose a tiny bit of damage, mainly from the lack of the penetration from the offhand. As for the bat bar, we run either a special weapon, a 2-piece set, that will give us either Magicka recovery, health, armor, or just a percentage reduction to damage. Good sets include things like Seducer, which will give us Magicka sustain if you want. Alternatively, you could go with Blessing of Potentes. This will give us 5% damage mitigation when on this bar. You could go with something like Death's Wind, which will give us 1400 armor roughly. That's about 2% damage mitigation. Or you could go with something like Armor Master or any health set just to give us an extra 1000 health, but I would advise against that. Ideally though, you could swap this for a special weapon such as the Maelstrom Restoration Staff, giving us access to extra Magicka when we heal ourselves with rapid regen. In order to reset our ultimate and to make sure that we have as much damage as possible, we have an ultimate generation build. We use this Internal Warrior that when you fall below 25% health you gain health back and 100 ultimate. It has a 1 minute cooldown. You can simply use Equilibrium from the Mage skill, which converts your health into Magicka, damaging you in the process. It can't kill you, and this will allow us to fall below that threshold and then get the extra ultimate back that we desperately need. You can then chuck in trash potions, overland potions, or even just alliance potions, and they will give you 20 ultimate on cooldown, so just spam those as well. So you can use that set as well as potions to reset your ultimate quite fast. If you want to speed up even further though, you could then chuck on Savage Werewolf, and when you are in combat this will then generate ultimate as you take damage, and you can put on Bloodspawn, again when you take damage giving you your ultimate as well. To then maximise that, we run Dual Wield and we have the traits as Decisive. The gear can be any trait we want on any glyph. We simply use this just between fights to reset the ultimate, thus meaning our bombs are always at maximum damage for when we need them. As for the CP guys, I've min-maxed it like I do with all of my builds. They'll be on screen now, just feel free to pause it when you see fit. All in all, the damage is ridiculously high with the CP configuration, but this build works in no CP as well, so you don't need to panic. Now for the food, you really just want to have max Magicka and Magicka recovery, so the Garcia Eye Bowl is probably the best food for this in all honesty. If you would go with green food, then get just Magicka that could give you more damage but sustains a little too low personally. As for the potions, it's really straightforward, just use the Alliance War ones, you don't really need anything else. 9 times out of 10, if it works you survive, if it doesn't work you die, regardless of potion. Munderstone wise, we use the Lover. This gives you the highest raw damage overall, especially in no CP. You could try the Apprentice or the Mage, but in all honesty from testing you get less damage, so the Lover is best for this. Don't worry about over penetrating, most builds have at least 20 to 25k armor, and when you add on proc sets it goes up to about 25 to 30k, that's even in light armor nowadays. So you will not overpen any person. In order to bomb effectively, you need to find a person or a Zerg, ideally somebody who is not buffed or a group who's not buffed, but you can buff buffed groups as well, it is a little harder however. Once you found your group though, it's really straightforward. You then go and cast Proximity Debt, Channel Deceleration or Race Against Time. You can cast them either way, depending on how far they are. You might want to cast Race first or Proxy first, that's up to you. Once you've done that, you then cast Blur. The Phantasmal Escape is the morph. This gives us Major Expedition. You then use Cloak to move closer to them. You could choose to drop down the shade at any point if you want to as an all no button, that's personal choice. You keep approaching it in stealth. When you get to the group in stealth, when the bombs get into 1 second, you then hit Cloak, block, and then you do Soul Tether. You'll find that the Soul Tether will then go off at the same time as the Proximity Debt or thereabouts, and you will land all of it. You then spam Sap Essence if they are still alive, and as soon as they start dying and most are dead, if not all of them, that's when you cloak and get out of there. You do not want to light attack at the start of the bomb because this can pull you out of stealth and you will lose damage. Now I'm going to wrap the video up here guys, so if you did enjoy this video, obviously like, comment, subscribe. As I said, I'd recommend checking out Daddy's channel, it's in the description. Really good YouTuber. He's got loads of footage coming up on these channels, about 6 hours worth to watch. And with that said guys, I'll catch you in the next one. So thanks for watching, take care and bye.